So we got a phone call from this customer. They have an issue with water coming in, some concerns with mold growth and things like that. So today we're going to perform a roof inspection and we're going to show you how we do it here at Paragon Roofing. So the very first thing that I need to do is I obviously have to get all of the gear that I'm going to need to inspect the roof with, and then throw out, if you've got some, a couple little safety cones just to keep people away from the work truck. We're going to be in and out, have these doors open, so I want to make sure that we can at least let people know what we're doing. I actually even like to kick my flashers on too. That way people know what we're doing. And also I would like to say this is not going to be an exhaustive inspection. There's millions of different ways that you can do these things. This is the way I prefer to do them. I don't like making repeat trips back to properties for any reason. So we do mostly insurance restoration work here in Nashville, and these insurance companies want all kinds of different pictures, befores, during, after. And so if I can get every photo I need at my first inspection, it'll save me a ton of time. So these boots that I'm putting on right now for the non-roofers and homeowners that are out there, these are called cougar paws. So these cougar paws have a foam pad down here on the bottom of them. It's actually a removable Velcro pad that allows us as roofers to grip to the roof a little bit better so that we can get home to our families. So if you see guys wearing these, it's just a safety precaution. I normally will put these on when we're getting on steeper roofs or something that might be a little sketchier, but I figured today, why not? When you do pull up to a house to do your inspection, make sure you get a little off of the road. I avoid parking in a customer's driveway until we're doing business together. It's just kind of something I've always done. So I want to go over a few things that I like to have in regards to my inspections. Oh, we got a mailman coming. So again, you're gonna see people that have all different kinds of gear, giddy up, stuff that you can use for your roofing and your property inspections, but I try and keep it pretty basic. I keep a digital measuring laser where if I've got interior damage, I can just quickly go in and zap some of that. I keep a small flat bar where I can unseal some shingles, inspect the fasteners, make sure those are fine. I grabbed a new pair of gloves just for this video. I keep a headlamp for all of our attic inspections, a pitch gauge so that I can get pictures of the pitch. The aerial measurement softwares are never exact. So it may say a 4, but on the pitch gauge, it may come out to a 3.7. That's a big difference because if I have a 3.7, I need double underlayment. If I have a 4, I don't. I keep a screwdriver to be able to remove any furnace vent caps if I need to measure those. I keep some little tin snips just in case I need to snip any metal or take a sample of something for colors. I'll keep a siding puller. I usually keep a little Sharpie if I need to mark some stuff, tape measure, a couple pieces of railroad chalk, and then I will keep a Hague shingle gauge. Not really a huge fan of them, but whatever. I put them on there because it's a neat photo to get. A piece of gutter apron and a piece of drip edge. That way I can use these to show you some stuff later. Then these are items I don't really carry around as much, but I keep in case I need them. We have a Wi-Fi digital microscope that you can get off of Amazon for, I think, 35 bucks. But it's a 1,000 times zoom microscope, hooks up via Wi-Fi to your cell phone, and you can get some really good pictures showing the condition of the shingles, any fractures to a mat, etc. from wind damage, or not wind damage, hail damage. I like to get a digital thermometer. These are good to do in the summertime. You can show people how hot the deck of their roof is getting when you're discussing ventilation and the importance of that. And then finally, I was a little bummed because this battery has been dead and I need to get one, a digital caliper. I love using these because it can give me the actual thickness of metal flashings to ensure that those are compliant with the minimal building standards, and also allows me to get an exact measurement of any 1x6 gaps between deck boards, because if any of those gaps are greater than 1/4 of an inch, I'm looking at potentially needing to do a redeck to satisfy building codes. So once we have everything that we need, one of the last things that I do recommend, get you some booties to slap on for when you go to do your roof inspection so you're not trekking any dirt, grime, anything like that around the customer's house. If you don't have a formal inspection checklist that you follow to keep you on track, I highly recommend getting one or putting one together. Have your manager or supervisor put one together. That way you can have a list to follow so that you can make sure that you're not missing anything when you do your inspection. So we'll actually go through and use those. Let me see where I put my phone. We like to go through and use those to make sure we don't miss any photos and we can stay on task and keep rolling. So again, when I first pull up, I don't want to pull into the driveway. I want to pull over to the side, put my flashers on, keep everything lined up nicely the way it is. I got my pouch ready to go. I look presentable. Now I need to go up and let this, in this case, it's a tenant, know that we're here and what to expect, because we're going to need to do the attic inspection. And I want to let them know, hey, I'm here, so they don't come out banging, boom, boom, boom. Or so they don't freak out and get scared. So I'll let them know I'm here, that we're going to do the exterior inspection first, then come inside, do the attic inspection, then get on the roof. That way I can work my way from the inside through the attic to the roof, inspect from inside out. Follow me. Nick, you can even hang tight or pause, however. All right, well, so tenant didn't answer. Oh well. But the main reason that we wanted to go ahead and get inside is obviously if this homeowner has water coming in, or this tenant has water coming in, we need to go inside and be able to measure out where that water is coming in so that when we get on the roof, we know where we need to be looking. But we reached out to the landlord, we're waiting on a response. So for the time being, we're gonna go ahead and do our exterior stuff. So after I've let the homeowner know that I'm here, we're gonna be doing our inspection, I'm gonna let them know, hey, I'm gonna be doing about 8 to 10 photos around the perimeter of your house. Then I'm gonna come up close and I'm gonna start looking up close at all the different elevations. I wanna see any damage that is on those elevations. And the way we refer to the elevations is when I'm facing this house, this is the front, and then to the right is going to be the right elevation, straight to the back, that's going to be back, and then everything to my left, we're going to consider left elevation. So front, right, rear, left, or front, right, back, left is the way that we do it. We don't go directionally, we just do it based on the elevation of the house. So, like I mentioned, checklists, super, super important. So we use a company cam checklist. So as I'm walking out to the street, I'll go ahead and open up company cam and go into our field inspector checklist. And the very first photo that ours asks for is going to be a mailbox photo. So I'm gonna hit here, mailbox photo. We're built right into the side here, so I'm gonna turn sideways. But what I want to do while I'm out here is I wanna get some additional pictures from up here, because this column on the entryway has been hit before. And so I wanna just snap a few photos from this front street facing view, even this crack in the driveway. I want to have exactly what this house looks like from this area first, even all the way down to This newspaper box, we've got damage up on here. I want to take pictures of this because as old as this is, a contractor may think, I don't care about that, I'm not going to take a picture of it, but that's an important photo to have so that we don't get blamed for it. So after I got done with that one, I'm going to go done, and just for our checklist in Company Cam, it actually allows me to hide anything that I've completed. And so once I've completed that mailbox photo, I can close that out, and it automatically tells me, hey, now it's time to do our property perimeter photos. So I'm going to click here, take photos, and I'm going to keep it moving. We use Sumo Quote to put all of our proposals together. So I like to get one really nice picture of the front of the house so that I can use that on all of my proposals that I send over to the customers. So again, I'm doing far out pictures so that I can get a lay of the land. Be careful, because a lot of times you're in neighboring customers' properties. So if they're outside, do yourself a favor and at least go talk to them. Let them know what you're going to be doing so that you're not just over here trespassing on somebody's property. All right, so again, this is the right side of the house. This is my right elevation. Some people may say that the inspection that we do is overkill, but I think it's perfect, because then I don't have to worry about making repeat trips back. And let me ask you this. Homeowners getting 3 quotes. 2 contractors come out, perform an assessment of the house. They're there 10 minutes, walk around the house real quick, climb on the roof, take 1 photo, come down. Hey, Mr. Customer, I'll have you a quote together in a day or so. And then we come out, have a 60 to 90 minute inspection, go through 150 to 200 pictures with you, assess the current condition of your property, and let you know 2 or 3 different options to fix that. Who do you think that customer goes with? The person that's building and showing the value in the services that they offer. So this house, unfortunately, has a gate over there, so we're gonna have to go around the other side. Come with me, follow me. All right, so we're back, and I kind of wish I was on this side of the fence, but we're gonna make this work as a family. So I'm gonna go my 0.5 zoom, these couple photos here. Again, we're just getting a 360 around the house to show what the lay of the land is. That way my roofers know, oh, okay, we got a fence right here. We got to keep debris out of that yard. The 0.5 zoom feature is one for the books in Nashville. You need it the way they slam these houses on top of each other. So after I just finished those 8 perimeter photos, the front left corner is where I'll end. I beeline straight to this front left corner of the house to go ahead and start my attic, or my perimeter inspection. Perimeter inspection. So on the perimeter, I'm looking for any sort of collateral damages that could substantiate that any significant weather event happened here. For instance, if this downspout was gone, customer said a windstorm came through, blew my downspouts down, that would help build the case that a windstorm came through here. Same thing, hail damage. If there was hail in this area, I need to look at this downspout and find any sort of dents and dings that may substantiate some hail damage to this property. So again, I shoot back into my checklist. I complete that section there. Now it tells me front elevation. So before I take these photos here, I'm going to step right back over here and snap 1 photo of the front of this house so that I know all of the photos that follow that are of anything I need to notate on the front of the house. So I always like to get pictures here because this water's coming out of this downspout and just slamming into the edge of the foundation here. We want water to discharge typically about 6 feet away from this foundation. We definitely don't want it shooting straight down here because that water has to go somewhere and it's going to go down, and that can lead to foundation issues. So I want a picture of that so that I can show this homeowner anything that they should be getting fixed. Now, I'll typically take some of my chalk and highlight any sort of dents or dings. I don't use much. There's one a little high that I cannot reach. Not very big, maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch hail probably came through this area. You can also use a flashlight and take some pictures, or shine the flashlight up this way and take some pictures of that as well to show the hail dents on there. Keep in mind, if you see an impact to this that's very sharp and almost scratched the metal, it's probably something mechanical, like something hit that, a limb, a kid playing. So keep those in mind, because oftentimes guys will look at that and they'll say, oh, there's a dent, it's got to be hail. But if it's a very sharp dent, there's a good chance it's not. I want to get some good pictures of the landscaping here in case we go to do a project. I want to make sure if anything gets damaged, I can hold my crew accountable. Also, I feel like I've been putting on that winter weight. If I'm huffing and puffing, don't get on me in the comments. I want to get some good photos of this window here. This window has a lot of exposed wood, so I want all these photos. Again, I don't make it part of my mission to go around painting windows for people, but if I go in and I get my car serviced at the shop and I go to get an oil change, but they don't tell me that I'm low on some of my fluids and then it ends up causing a problem for me, I'm gonna be a little irritated. So I try and bring that same service to our inspections of, hey, these are things we don't do, but you need to know about them. Even this little foundation vent here has just got some junk built up in it. So again, I'm getting pictures of any stuff that is damaged up here. I've got some bent fascia metal. Another thing, this is a really, really important photo to get, is the insurance companies are never, ever, ever going to, well, I don't want to say never, ever, ever, but they're typically never going to pay for starter on the rakes unless it was pre-existing, because even though certain manufacturers say that it's required, they still say that, well, we don't owe for it because that's a warranty thing, which is not true in most cases. But what do we know? We're just goofy contractors. So again, all I'm doing over here is getting pictures of anything that has some damage to it. I want to get over here because this is really, really good indicators of hail all over these window screens. And we know that there was hail that came through here back in the day. And all these little marks in here are pretty good indicators that we had some hail hit the front of this house. And then I want a picture of that soffit vent that's blown out, because that can actually, you can get raccoons, animals, things like that coming in the house. I want to take pictures of this type stuff. I don't want to get blamed for that, and I also want to let the homeowner know, hey, there's certain things out here you need to be aware of. Stair-step cracking, windows, any broken windows. Just think what is everything that I need to show this customer, and photograph that. What do I not want to be blamed for? Photograph that. All right, so that's pretty much got this whooped. Same thing here, discharging right down there into the back of here. So now I've finished up all of my front elevation photos. Now moving on to right. And now we rock and roll throughout the rest of the house. Again, utilize those zoom features. Any things like this, get pictures. How this electrical comes in, get pictures. Your driveway here, we've got some cracks in it. Get pictures. Rear elevation, getting pictures. We're just out here getting pictures, baby. The more pictures you have, the better. Take a picture of the camera guy. Gotta have fun doing this stuff, baby. That thing lit up like a Christmas tree. Yeah, buddy. Pictures. Pictures. Pictures, pictures, pictures. No such thing as too many pictures. I promise you, you'll never do an inspection and say, I didn't need all those photos. Oh, Lord. Oh, never mind. I thought there was a giant hornet's nest up behind this fascia, but it's just a spider web. Get some pictures of that fascia blown off there. Well, y'all know what I mean. Also, a ton of pictures of the HVAC system. We want to make sure stuff doesn't fall down and hit this. He's got a little bug screen on there, but I want to have all this stuff, all this. We've got a window over here. I thought I heard buzzing. I've been tore up by wasps before doing this. We've got this windowsill here that is just absolutely gone. I don't mean kind of gone, I mean that thing is gone. Pictures of the gas meter, crawl space. What does this side look like? All right, so we just finished up our elevation photos. So we've done far out perimeter photos, we've done up close elevation photos, and now it's time for us to get on the ladder, get up on the roof. Let's go. All right, let's go climb this thing. Oh. You're welcome on the angle. All right, so getting up on this roof, I'm a big fan of these telescoping ladders. There's a lot of people that don't really like them because they move and they flex a lot, but I'm a fan. I'm gonna see if we can get this thing over here somewhere and not be straight up and dang down. And I also don't want to get too much into these folks' bushes, because you also want to find a nice area that's level so that you can be safe going up the ladder. Yeah, you gotta get creative being a contractor sometimes. So heading on up from here, make sure ladder's good. I'm good here. We've got some gutter guards up here, and so the first thing I want to do is I want to get a picture of this gutter guard prior to me removing it, and then I'll go ahead from down here. I want to know my soffit depth back here for in the event this customer wanted to upgrade to ice and water shield on the eaves, I can then know how many courses I need to get it 24 inches inside that interior wall. So back to the roof inspection. So again, I want to go ahead and remove these gutter guards if I can. That thing is in there. I definitely don't want to mess anything up. Let's see. Oh, they got them all fastened in here. That's fun. I can get what I need without pulling them. Typically, if I can get this gutter guard out, I want to get some better photos of the size of this gutter, but I can get what I need without them. So again, I like going up where I'm in a valley, because then I can get a photo of if there's any valley liner present. I can get my starter shingle, I can get my gutter, I can get my intake or soffit measurements. And ideally, if there was like a rake here, I could get a photo with my rake edges as well. But I want to go here. I want to get an idea of that starter strip that's there. It's a lot easier to see without your glasses on. Then I want to lift this up this allows me, I can not only look at the decking from right here, I can see if there's any drip edge present. I can see if there's paper under here. And then the other thing that I'm kind of bummed about, but I can see it from here, is the reason I like to remove that gutter guard is I'll put this gutter apron above this gutter hanger here to see if that needs to be detached and reset when we do this project. But I think it's going to be fine. It looks like it's about 2 inches down. All right, so that's the last photo I need there. I got a pretty good distance down from that gutter hanger, so I'm going to be fine with that. I want to go over here because I actually have a perfect photo of some ice and water shield coming out from under this. So that shows me I have a valley liner. This also lets me know that this roof was probably done halfway correctly. Let me make sure I don't have any surprises under this side. Looks good to me. Second to last photo I want to get is, I want to get my little flat bar here and my pitch gauge. Again, these are all photos I'm doing before we even get on the roof. I want to go here because I want to see what this thing gauges out at. With newer roofs, they're just doing all lifetime warranties, so it's not really, there's not really a purpose in doing that, but I'll put this in this direction for you. So I want to make sure that I don't have any sealant under here, and then I want to push this on, and typically I'm going to push it until I meet resistance back here. And so I don't want to do it here on the laminate strip. I want to do it right there, and it stops about right there. And so that's telling me that I'm somewhere around probably just a standard 30 year, because I've got some room to go that way. And so I can even do it that way so I can check, and I know, and then I want to get a good picture of that, make sure it's good to go. And then the last photo I want to get, this is going to be, if you learn nothing else, get this photo, because you can see right here, this roof pitches out to a 312, actually just below a 3, about a 2.8 on a standard, I guess I would just call this an analog pitch gauge. You can order these off of Amazon for super cheap. I don't like using the digital ones on the phone except for a quick reference to know, okay, for me, what it may be. I like this one because it's non-biased, because you can calibrate your one on your phone to be a little more biased on the pitches. This one not so much, because you can see we're just under a 312 pitch, which is going to require double underlayment. So even in the event that I need to repair this assembly for some reason, then those repairs are required to be done according to the manufacturer's specifications as well. So without further ado, let's get on this roof. So I immediately go straight to the top of the roof and start my overviews. If I don't do that, I will forget. I want to avoid standing directly onto the top of the ridge cap. And then I just want to do some nice perimeter photos around this whole roof where I can see every pipe boot, box vent, power attic fan, debris, anything that I need, I can see them. Then I want to shoot down to here, and I want to do the same thing from this side. Boom, boom, boom. 360s again. Y'all may think I take too many photos. I don't care. It's good to do it. All right, same thing. Boom, everything. Okay, so after I've done my slope overviews, I'm gonna clear that out. I'm gonna put my phone away for a minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and mark my elevations in chalk in F for front. I do a B for back. Remember, we're facing the house, left, right, left, right. The reason I do this is just so I don't have to do it later and I don't forget. If I have two different left and right slopes, like I do here, I'll normally do like L2 and R2, kind of like R2, D2. Now, my inspection begins. I want to know, and I checked this when I first got here. I just can't remember what I had. I want to check for directional slopes. So I pull my compass out. So north is straight back that way. So southwest is straight this way. I'm gonna double check. Meant to do that when I first got here. I need to add it to my checklist. But I want to double check my storm history here. So we use Hail Recon. Great software, works perfectly. Lets us know where wind and hail events had happened. We can actually put our contact data in there. I thought I was getting stung. So we've had some half-inch hailstorms come through here. I typically look for something within about the last 12 months because majority of insurance companies now have their policies written where if it's 12 months or if it's more than 12 months past when that storm event affected your property, they call it like the date of loss, then they're off the hook. I have mixed opinions on that because if you're not aware of it, almost like Schrodinger's cat, if you're not aware that you have hail damage, is it actually a loss at that point? Or does it become a loss once you realize, oh shoot, I have damage and I need to get my roof replaced, you know? So that's where my head goes on that. But based on this, I don't really have hail dates, and looking around the roof, I don't see any missing or creased shingles off of the get-go. So we probably have some issues that are, or some items that are beginning to fail from maintenance, and so that's probably what we're going to be looking at. But I also want to make sure that I don't have any limbs that came down and potentially punctured this roof as well. So when I'm doing my roof inspection, as I'm going through, I want to go through and mark anything that is not supposed to be there. I might put some dots next to these things because I've got an area where at some point a tree was rubbing up against here. Be very cautious walking backwards down a roof. You never want to walk off of a roof. And again, I'm just going to typewriter this whole roof and go back down and just make sure I'm looking for everything. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing here is, and I'll show you, is we have a seam and a seam on a shingle, and then seam, seam, and then they go back this direction here. So this shingle has actually been racked when it was installed. What I'm marking on here is the edges of these shingles. And architectural shingles are not designed to be allowed to rack like this. And so I want to make sure that I get a picture of that, because what can ultimately end up happening is water can come in these seams, and if your seams aren't continuously staggered up, water can kind of get into one of these seams and work its way down into your roof. So I want to note that by taking a picture, boop, showing that my shingles were racked. Same thing, we'll make sure, see if these valleys are acting like they're lifted up, or if there's any debris coming down in. Now, Or another good thing to check for is I want to make sure nobody slammed a nail too close into this valley. There's not supposed to be any fasteners within 6 inches of the lining of this valley. And so if you've got any leaks that measure out to be relatively close to the valley, there's a chance it could be a situation like that. I'll normally, if I'm transitioning over the roof, I'll transition into this area here and look around, see if there's any issues that I see. Same thing over onto this side. I've got a little issue here. Got a little wind damage to this tab here on the top of the hip and ridge. There's a little mark right here. A lot of roofers may even call that mark there hail damage, but it's clearly a busted blister. It exposed it all the way down to the mat, but that mat is fully intact. It's still nice and hard. So that there is not hail damage, not hail. So same thing, I want to make sure that they didn't, because it almost looks like they installed these. Nah, they did them. They kind of brought them up here and then racked them going up, because this area right through here got racked a little bit, but then it transitions on down that way. So again, not seeing any wind damage on the front, not seeing any hail damage. Let's go on to the back, look around. So again, be very, very careful walking backwards down any sort of roofing system. Be careful being anywhere close to these things. We've got some minor maintenance items here. This item is the electrical mast. So we've got electrical comes in. It's the mast is the pole that goes down in through the roof. And this boot's starting to fail. We've got this has been glooped up over time. The nail's backing out here. Got some rust popping up on that. So that's going to need some TLC at some point. We have a satellite dish here that has been actually one satellite dish bracket and then the satellite dish here. These are notorious for leaking, so I want to look at some of those. Then also, like, you'll notice another thing that I'm doing is I'm not taking any pictures right now. After I've done all my overviews, then I just get to the inspection part. So now I'm just looking through the roof. I know I've got a leak in one of these bathrooms. Unfortunately, we can't get in. That's why the attic inspection is so important. So I've actually got a layer of ice and water shield behind these boots. So I usually like to do a little like I and W with an arrow to show, because I can see this little fibrous membrane under here, so I know that's ice and water shield. Another thing that I want to be able to do is I want to look at this boot, because these boots have a date stamped onto them to let you know the date and the shift when this was manufactured in case there's ever a defect. So this one's from IPS, and it was actually from, I usually write it in date format with an arrow towards this boot. So it was on first shift on the 11th day in 2011 in October. So 10/11/11, this boot was manufactured on, actually the arrow is just to the left of the one, so that would mean it was like overnight on a third shift, probably 6 a.m. if I was a betting man. Now I want to take this again. Remember that hail report said 1/2 inch hail in January or in July of 23, but I mean maybe but like nothing. You know, maybe, but I doubt it. So not only do we not have a valid hail date for this to be able to go through, but like the soft metal would light up if this thing had hail that was bad enough to damage this roof assembly. So this automatically is going to tell me I'm not filing anything on this for wind damage, or I'm not going to mention that the homeowner could potentially file for hail damage on this roof, because that adjuster is going to come throw all of us up. You might as well like slap staple your underlayment or some stupid shit like that. These are plastic, so you're not going to have anything here, but you want to look and see. All right, because this one's got ice and water shield behind it too. Same thing, let's just see if there's anything funky around this valley. It's holding some debris pretty well. This here is bad. If you have this debris that gets built up over here in this valley, when we get heavy enough rain, think like water. Water's gonna come down here, slam into all of this, slam into this gutter splash guard, build up. It's gonna take a long time to penetrate through here into the gutter. And so water's gonna be able to back up into this valley, and then water's gonna start coming in. And in the event that you had a situation like that happen, you may have to pay for all of that out of pocket. So roof maintenance, like all of this stuff, is really, really important to have done. Now that I've checked out this whole roof, in order for us to be able to actually diagnose the issue that's going on here, and it's no big deal, but we're gonna have to get into the attic, because there's a good chance that we have some angle-driven fasteners somewhere around here, or water getting in around some of these boots and flashings that we're not gonna be able to see from up top here. So we have to be able to get in, we have to be able to x-ray the inside or the guts of this roof, because if we're trying to look for angle-driven nails, they could be anywhere. So let's go ahead, document the rest of this roof to finalize the inspection, and then we'll get with the tenant, we'll get inside to the attic, and if we're able to get inside today, we'll show you how we're gonna find these leaks. But for the time being, let's document everything by elevation again. So again, I'm gonna start on front elevation, and I'm gonna kinda throw on my 0.5 zoom. Again, I got my pictures in through here, and I'm just taking photos of anything necessary. I like a far out photo of the front slope also, in case we have a situation where we get shingles blow off at some point. I can have a time-stamped photo showing what the roof looked like at 1:43 p.m. on the 2nd of November in 2023. So that's powerful data to have. And also, if you're a homeowner watching and you're not already in the Paragon Storm Protection Program, give us a shout, drop a comment. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about it and how we utilize that free service to take care of homeowners. So I just got all of my photos of the front elevation done. Again, I'm moving to my right elevation photos. So I got that one showing no damages. I want to get these here. Now, I do my best to go through and clean some of this type stuff off, but I've had a situation identical. You try and do something nice for somebody, and then they get upset with you because you dropped leaves down onto their carport roof, or hey, get the rest of these off too. I would love to be able to help people and do all that for free, but unfortunately, we have customers that are paying us, so we have to be able to prioritize some of those. So when we're doing our inspections, I like to clean off any minor debris just to kind of do that as an added service. But just know, sometimes you're trying to do something nice and a homeowner will get upset with you. So don't get mad at them. Maybe they had a bad day. So again, 0.5 zoom is your friend in certain situations. I want to know what this whole thing looks like. Now, these are good photos to get here because I've got creases on these shingles down here at this eave. Now, this crease is here because these gutter guards were installed up under these shingles and lift the shingle up. So guys may try and say that stuff like this is wind damage. This isn't wind. This was simply creased when these were installed. But this is something that you should note because in the future, if there's any issues that damage these shingles, this is a good indicator that the product is not repairable, to where you would have to do larger sections of the roof instead of piecemeal repairs. So right elevation done. Let's go to rear elevation, or not rear elevation, or right. It's not even hot out here. All right, bam, bam, bam. Again, I want to take pictures of all this debris built up in this valley. Don't forget your other left elevation. All right. Okay. Last but not least, y'all hear that decking cracking? That's always fun. Kind of right in through there. So one thing that I want to do, because like if I feel that, I want to investigate that a little further, because I've got some fasteners that are just absolutely buried there. But we do know that he's had a leak, because yeah, we got 2 nails just buried right there, so they're not even installed properly. But we've got a nail right there that's going to be pretty much shooting water right down into that seam. That thing will 100% leak. Plus we got a seam right here above it, so if any water gets in, you know, this corner of this seam up here, it can get down in through here and go straight through there. So yeah, those are that's why I was saying this leak is going to 100% be some bad fasteners somewhere causing this leak to come through. Yeah, I've got a bad angle-driven fastener right there. I've got a shingle just buried right there. I've got a rusted nail right here. Here's what sucks. You wanna know what sucks? Is in a situation like this, I have ice and water shield in this valley, but this roof is not currently built to code. So if I'm gonna repair this slope here, I have to bring this slope up to code. What was the pitch on this roof? We know it was like a 2.9. So it's supposed to have double underlayment. The shingles have been racked, so they're not installed according to the manufacturer's specs. We have bad nail placement in a lot of areas on this roof that's gonna lead to water intrusion. So this roof is not only not built to the manufacturer's specs, but it's not built to local codes right now. And that doesn't take into account any water saturated decking that may be under these shingles, since we can't see the attic. So unfortunately, if we were gonna do this roof here, the bare minimum we could do, even just with this, would be from the ridge forward. And when I say the ridge forward, is because I intersect with valleys of these 2 shingles here. So there's ice and water shield in this valley, and then these shingles that come this way, that wrap up under there, are gonna have nails in them from this roof. And so if I don't change these shingles out, I'm gonna have holes in this valley all the way through there. And I can't have that, because that is going to leak. And so at bare minimum, the conversation, without even getting into the attic now, guys and gals, is we're gonna have to do from ridge forward to do some repairs. But I think what we're gonna have to do, because he had some issues on the back too, is we'll pop some of these seals open on the backside. If we find something similar, then unfortunately all we're gonna be able to do is replace the entire system, because what we're not going to do, and no shade out there, well, you know what, yeah, there's shade out there if you do this, but if you try and go through and do a patch job on this roof here, it's against building codes. I can't repair any elevations if that elevation does not meet the current codes in that municipality. And it may work, but you're setting the homeowner up for failure. So make sure you do the right thing. I'll finish this inspection up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.